What's up, knob nibblers? I'm McStud,
And I'm Mrs. McStud.
and welcome to the McStud Show,
Hey.
Storytime Edition. But first, do you know what a knob nibbler is?
I know.
Alright, a knob nibbler is definitely not a glizzy gobbler. A glizzy gobbler, for those of you who don't know, a glizzy's a dick. And a person that gobbles it, gobbles a dick. A knob nibbler is one of those people that wants to give some head, but all they know how to do is play with the tip of it. Like they're eating fucking oatmeal off the top of a spoon.
Oof.
That's a whole mess.
It
Like,
is.
what the fuck you doing down there? Like, that didn't even count.
Oof.
Like, that's like me, it's like, yeah, I'll go down and you're just giving the pussy a kiss. Just giving it real quick pecks. Oh, I can eat pussy like a motherfucker.
Oof.
Pussy pecker. I should, maybe that's what I'll use tomorrow. Knob nibblers and pussy peckers. Jesus Christ, get your face dirty, you fucking lazy bastards. Anyways, it's motherfucking Michael Bolton Friday.
Fuck Hard Friday.
And fuck Stick Friday. Damn, back to back to back to back. My back is feeling better, by the way.
Yeah.
So I started doing some little exercises. I think
It was amazing. He drove me to work today.
Yes.
I so enjoyed it.
And I got to go up there for lunch. I hadn't got to do all weekend. Or all week. I did take a couple naps today. That's okay. Still didn't sleep the best last night, but the best night I've had all week. So, Mrs. McStud, how was your day?
Okay.
It's okay. Are you gonna open that, or are you just gonna fucking knob nibble it?
Why can't you open it for me?
You know,
Exactly.
really? I'll always open that for if you
I
want.
know.
You're like, I got it. Fucking twat. Anyways, I got my Old English, my favorite. I think we discussed that last night on video. Yeah, the live, wasn't it?
Nice.
Said Old English is my favorite.
Remember?
So I got me this weekend. I got an Old English for tonight, a cold or a Mickey's for tomorrow and Sunday, and Super Bowl Sunday's coming up. We've got Hubie. Uh-oh. What about him?
We also got a 12-pack of Twisted Tea, the variety pack, and we're going to shotgun live. And we're probably going to shotgun every day this weekend, and probably multiples on some days.
Yeah.
Just because I love some Twisted Tea, and I really want to see how the carbonation does my stomach.
And we never really thought of the aspects of shotgunning because Twisted Tea was compared to a regular beer, but we started talking about it, and you mentioned it on your live, like the carbonation's not there.
Yeah.
And that makes a huge difference when you're consuming a lot of liquid. Like, the 24 ounce would probably be much easier for me than the fucking 24 ounce Foster's oil can was.
Yeah, but also because my stomach's not real big, and the foam consumes it, and then I can't drink all my beer.
Yeah, that sucks, doesn't it?
So, yeah.
And it's hard to find a happy medium for the temperature.
It is.
If it's too cold, you get like the brain freeze during a shotgun.
Ugh.
If it's too warm, it makes you want to gag, and it's super foamy. The warmer it is.
Yes.
At our old house, I had the trick down. Like, I put the hot water on, I'd pull the plug up, and I'd roll the can 3 times while the water filled up, and then I'd let the water out, and roll it 3 more times, and it was perfect temperature every time.
Was it?
Yeah, that's how I did them all the time. It was perfect for you. I could not find the perfect method at this sink.
I just remembered we got to turn the water on at every bathroom. I think tonight is going to start getting super cold.
Tomorrow night.
Oh, it's tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, and then into the week. Yeah, we're getting some extremely cold temperatures coming up. Fuck you, cold weather.
Yeah, I'm ready for this shit to be over.
Yeah, is it springtime yet? Can we get the last snow of the fucking year, like March always
I'm going to
brings?
celebrate like crazy on Sunday, because I got to be at the hospital all day Monday. But guess what? I don't have to work the day after the Super Bowl. I might have to be at the hospital early.
But we don't have to work.
But I don't have to work.
I to this day, every year I say the day after the Super Bowl should be a national holiday.
But we have to be at the hospital. It's
early as
it's
balls.
further away and early.
Almost an hour
Earlier
away.
than work. So
Yeah. But it's okay.
Yeah.
It should be all right. There's no work. At least like you can nap while you're there. And try to get somehow comfy.
I don't know. I think you might need to come home.
I don't know. ET phone home?
Well, they're not telling me a time that he's going in.
Oh.
Like, we just gotta be there. I don't know if they're doing it, like, between openings or what. I'm not.
Oof. I don't know. But the whole ET thing just made me think of something.
What?
Remember ET?
Yes.
You know when you touch a finger and it light up?
Yes.
What if they made? I wonder if they ever made like a porno with ET in it. But instead of touching the finger, like they touch knobs. And
they
like
touched a boner in it.
The head of the dick like lit up and shit.
That'd be cool.
Like ET
Can
phone home. Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't want your boner.
I want your boner.
Okay, but I said two dudes touching boners.
Oh.
But
I'll keep it up in me then.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Well, no man's gonna argue with that. But yes, it's Friday. Michael Bolton Friday. Once again, it's always Michael Bolton Friday. Pretty non-eventful day.
Pretty tired today.
Pretty tired today because I've been working out all week.
I try to get you to work out.
I've been working my eyelids out. I can't work out even if I wanted to.
I know.
The only workout I could possibly do is like we look forward to getting a heavy bag. Like that's the only thing that
I
like
really am going to get that. I think with your tax check.
I can punch and move. I used to do heavy bag workouts. Like
and if my friend wants to sell hers, she'll give me a super good deal on it. And I mean, it's just been sitting in storage for 2 years.
Yeah, so. I used to do a full 12 3-minute round workout on the heavy bag.
She's got the stand with it. I think she said a 75-pound one.
Oh, perfect. Mine was 70, so that's perfect weight. I like that. If it's too light, then it just starts flinging. Like the 70, once you get it rocking, then it'll keep rocking, but you just stop it. And it's good. It's a good weight to...
I want to just beat the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
I just need to know how to hit without breaking my wrist.
Well, with mine, the softer part was up top, so if I wanted to simulate body shots, I had to make sure it was right, because I did a body shot one time,
so
fucked
I like
my wrist
uppercut.
up. You can't really uppercut on a heavy bag. You got to simulate an uppercut. Because there's nothing there to hit. Uppercut is just straight up. You can't uppercut a heavy bag.
Yeesh.
Yeah. So you just got to pretend.
Okay.
So you're like, you throw your hooks and then just throw a shadow uppercut to get it in there. Now they do have some things for uppercuts.
Can I kick it too?
Yeah. You gotta be mindful of how you're kicking it too, because if you hit it with your foot wrong, you're gonna fuck your foot up. Because that bottom part's heavy.
But you could show me, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Not that I'm the best kicker. I'm a puncher, not a kicker.
I'm both.
Yeah, well, I've never been flexible enough to even want to, like, use a kick.
I want to kick the top of the bag.
The only kick I can really do is, like, the King Leonidas Sparta kick.
And honestly, the way your bag stood, the way I was kicking during my workout today, I'm pretty sure I could probably hit the soft part of that bag.
Oh, Lord. What if you just, like, kicked me up on my shoulder and I held your leg up there?
Okay.
This video is getting really nasty, really fasty. What?
I can't help that.
That's okay. But no, Terry Dallas wanted some story times because those of you that don't know, I used to be a correctional officer and she used to work at the prison in the office, but she spent some time out in the yard.
Yo, what was my nickname?
Oh, Mrs. McStud's. Oh, let's start off story time with Mrs. McStud's nickname by the inmates. She was Showstopper. Literally, because she got ass for days, and I understand when she walked down the walk, they'd be looking out the pod windows, or like you go in a housing unit, it was 4 pods and it was all glass windows. Everybody would like,
they'd be knocking on the fucking windows and shit.
Yep.
Everybody would stop watching fucking TV.
Well, I mean, they got some good pussy coming in that motherfucker. They gotta check it out. Ain't no pussy in prison. Well, I mean, there is, but it's not legally done.
Oof.
Yeah, there's no consensual sex in prison, by the way, in the state of Indiana. What the fuck is that? Oh, that's Rob Shields. Got a YouTube notification. This isn't YouTube Live, it's just a normal notification. But yeah, there's no consensual sex in prison in the state of Indiana. We don't have conjugal visits or anything. So any type of sexual activity is considered sexual assault.
Yeah.
So, another story, let's just say, you walk in and you see a couple guys, one dude giving another dude a blowjob. It may be consensual between the two, but it's not consensual at all. And as an officer, you got to stop that because you got to stop a sexual assault. And the best thing to do in that situation is to fucking pepper spray him right in the dick in the mouth, where it's going in at. That stops a blowjob real fast, like. Yes. Have I seen a dude getting his dick sucked? Yes, I have. Did I like it? No.
Have you seen shit and piss all over cell blocks in mental health?
Actually, when you are a new officer, they take you down to mental health, and we just got lucky one day that a nice gentleman down in one of the cells had decided to finger paint and palm paint his whole fucking cell, and so we got to go down there and you get to smell the whole you get the whole experience. Like, it's just fucking covered, you know. Got to see that. One dude, which really pissed me off because like the day shift staff, like the shift before, would fucking irritate him to the point that he had to be extracted second shift, which I think was bullshit. But they get him to the point where he'd like totally rub shit all over himself and his walls, and then the cell extraction team has to go in and restrain a dude covered in shit. Which is a whole goddamn mess in itself.
Yeah.
Yes, I have seen that. You know, and then for these cell extractions, some guys will, if they get a hold of some conditioner by someone or whatever, they'll grease their fucking floor down. So when the team comes in, they're fucking slipping and sliding. There's like, you know, a metal bed there. You can hit your head on it. A whole goddamn mess of things can go wrong in a cell extraction. But, yes. I never had a bad one. Thank God. But yeah, cell extractions were interesting, to say the least, but necessary, unfortunately. Trying to think of another.
Mental health reminds me, oh my gosh, I went down there one day, and the suicide cells,
the rubber rooms,
where they're butt ass naked. They have to be naked because they commit suicide with their articles of clothing.
Yeah, and
they have a suicide blanket.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all they got. Suicide blanket and they're butt naked. Mm-hmm. And this motherfucker, I thought he was going to bang out that motherfucker window to get to me.
Well, it's only a small window. It's a pretty heavy door, though.
The fuck? No.
Boy, one of the craziest things I saw in the rubber room, story-wise, was there was a dude in there, and he was not right in the head, you know, and these guys will cheek their medicine and not taking it and shit. And he had a knot, like a calcified knot on his forehead from banging his head on the wall. But this dude had also gotten a hold of a razor at some time in the past and cut his nutsack open. And he would pull his ball out. Well, he didn't have anything in the rubber room. He just had long fingernails. He used his long fingernails to like pry his nutsack open again on the scar.
Ew.
And fucking pull his testicle out.
What about down in mental health? You can tell the story of down in mental health when they went out to the rat cage and they were doing sexual stuff between the...
Oh, yes. There was this one old dude and this other guy who was a creepy sex offender. Really creepy. Well, the old dude... actually, I believe one of those guys would... shove oranges up their ass and then take it out the wreck, because you're not supposed to take anything out the wreck with you. So you get out there and he's popping an orange out of his ass. True story. But on this particular day, I wasn't there, but I heard all about it. They were doing their rounds at wreck, and this dude had his dick through the fence, and the sex offender was sucking it. And the officer was trying to stop him, and the dude's like, "Don't stop sucking, white boy." It was a whole goddamn mess. Yeah.
Then we have the story, because mental health inmates also had to have these flex pens. So what flex pen is that it's just a piece of rubber, basically, with an ink tube inside that you can't break this at all.
Yeah, it's like you take the ink thing out of a Bic pen.
Yeah.
But it's flexy.
It's flexy so that it can't be broke to be used as a shank or anything.
Talking about the pee hole?
Yes. And that we had an inmate that liked to shove the flex pen in his pee hole.
And then get sent to the hospital.
Yes.
To get it removed. This dude was actually Lockup Famous at our facility. Everyone was fucking scared of him. Because back in his heyday, he used to fucking rip the cuff port off and throw it off. Everyone was always fucking...
The mattress, or the bed.
He would roll his mattress up and soak it down with the water he had and do curls and shit. And everybody was scared of him. Like, never had a problem until I had to write him up. Because I had to step between him and another dude that was on lockup, actually. At one time, because the chaplain decides to bring them out. Like, the dude I'm walking down to the rec room is in a belly chain and leg shackles. And the other dude, it was just had to cuff him in the front for fucking church services, which is the craziest shit. But he had a special pair of cuffs because he would just break the regular ones. And I'm walking this dude to the rec room, and the fucking chaplain wants to walk him out right then, and they've been yapping at each other for a week. I'm like, motherfuck. So the one dude in the belly chains was a really cool guy. He didn't even need to. I don't even know why he was in ever mental health. He wasn't ever mental. Like, I don't know his purpose there. But yeah, so they're squaring off. Dudes in the fucking belly chains. Like, he can't do much. And the other dude's in this, and I'm standing between them. At this point, we didn't have gas, like, to spray it on anyone during mental health. So I had to call the fucking signal. And dude's like, Corn, get out the way. I got this. I'm like, all right. Fuck it. So they didn't do anything. They kind of, went at each other a little bit. Until the dude in the belly chains, like, the responders came. We walk him out. The other dude comes and kicks him in the back of the leg. And who is left to write this person up? Me. So, that's all fine and dandy. The next day, he gets his write-up, obviously, and what would they call that person that did the write-ups? Like they had to go through and tell them about their shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember that.
I can't remember that.
Well, they told him, it was me that wrote him up, which was just fine. I didn't give a shit. Had to do what I had to do, which I hated paperwork. I probably wrote a total of maybe 5 to 6 write-ups in 6 years at a prison. Now, the youth center, I wrote up motherfuckers like crazy because they're kids. But you learn to gain respect at a prison. You don't have to fucking write people up. But yeah, so I'm coming down to mental health, and all I can hear is I'm, coming through the sliding doors, this pounding. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I get to my range, and before I get in, where's Officer Corn at? I'm like, oh, they gave him his write-up, and they got him in the cell right behind the officer's station. I'm like, great. So I get in there, and the captain's like, hey, you need to give him his meds. I'm like, okay. Then the other officer just told me that he's got a sink full of shit ready to go for me. I was like, hold up. I am not opening that cuff port to give him his meds because I know I got a cup full of shit coming at me as soon as I open that cuff port. So I was there for a couple hours, and I tried to talk to him, and it seemed like everything was good because we never had any problems. I just had to write him up, and then for some shit he legitimately did. I didn't want to write him up, but it was stupid what he did. So he was like, I just need some toilet paper. I was like, all right. I thought I give everyone a chance. So I opened the cuff port. This motherfucker got his cup of shit, fucking starts flinging it. We got a chick at the control station. It goes up towards her. So I'm like, holy shit. So I have to go down to the side. He's just fucking flinging shit and piss everywhere. Until one of the sergeants had to come down and shut the goddamn cuff port because he listened to him. Well, it was a whole motherfucking mess. Like, there was shit everywhere. So we had to get the bio cleanup inmate to come in from off the yard to clean up all this shit. And we had to put towels down in front of the door so you couldn't grab him because he'd be taking a shit on the floor and flinging it under the fucking floor. At me. At me. So they took me off the range for that night because they realized that he was just not going to get along with me. So the next day, they put him back there, and when I get on, he's already at rec. No big deal. I got to pick up trays. So he's in the rec room, and at this time, you still handcuffed him in the front. No big deal. Like I told, I don't really care. I was never intimidated by the guy. Never had a problem. Like, he's just a man. Everyone thought he was Superman. Like, he's just a fucking man to me. So I go down the range, and he just gets up and starts looking. I'm like, so I knew there was another guy on the other side, so I called him. I was like, hey, can you just come over here for a minute? Because I didn't know what the fuck we were going into. Because I was just trying to avoid fucking the confrontation. Like, there's no point to get in a fight when a dude's not really mentally stable. And not, cause we got along after this. Which is why I did this, because he's just pissed off over a fucking write-up. He's not going to remember it 2 weeks from now. And he's walking, I was like, hey, can you just fucking hold that door open while I bring these trays in? Because I even brought him a remote control. That's my attitude. It's like, hey, here's the remote for you so you can change the channel. And he just staring at me. He starts getting up. I was like, all right. we're going to get in a fight on the fucking range. Because I want to be a dick too. Yeah, so there was that story. Then there was another guy. Really cool. But he had really crazy episodes. And one day, like he was cool every day I worked there. Then one day he was just talking weird. And a couple of the guys like, hey, keep an eye on him. He's saying you and your partner are talking shit to him in Jewish. I don't know any Jewish language, first and foremost. But it was his time to come out the wreck. He was like, I was like, hey, you ready to come out the wreck? He's like, yeah, it's all right. And we still had to cuff him in the front. So I cuff him in the front. I bring him out to the thing. So I come back down the range to do my checks. And on my way back, he fucking pops up. And everyone's all scared of him. Like, oh, he knows martial arts. Well, he's fucking handcuffed too. And I don't care if he's not. You know, he's a fucking man to me. Like, you just can't go into a fucking prison and be fucking scared. We had so many motherfuckers who were like that. Like, oh my God, come help me. What the fuck? You kind of got to know what you're getting into at a prison.
Yeah. And
even the inmates, like, don't come to prison if you can't fight. Like, don't get arrested. Don't come to prison. Don't be an officer if you can't fight. And not that I'm a hard motherfucker by any means, but I don't really have much fear either. Like, I may be like, oh, this is going to suck. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
So I come back and this dude fucking starts to... Because you had to cuff him a certain way with the double sides on the top so they couldn't fucking do all this crazy shit. But this guy goes over here to the table, gets him in there, pries him up. I'm like, oh, he's popping his cuffs off. So I turn around, he comes running at me. And he's like, oh, he doesn't realize his fucking cuffs didn't break. So I just called my buddy on the radio. It's like, hey, can you just pop that door? He's like, yeah. So I walked out, and then he finally gets it. Took him like 2 or 3 more times. He pops his cuffs off, and he starts punching the fucking glass. So I had to call a signal on him. He had to get pepper sprayed. And then 2 days later, he apologized because he realized did not know what the fuck he was doing. You know, and other officers might have just fucking kicked him in the fucking head. I'm like, this dude, you know, if we have to scramble, it's okay. But he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. Like, that's literally the craziness of mental health.
Yeah.
Like, you don't realize how fucking nuts some people are until you actually work with some fucking nuts.
And we had some crazy ones down there. Some of them were infamous.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, we had several people
cutting his grandmother's brains and heart out and eating him.
I forget that one.
I forget which one that one was.
We had a little dude that raped like a 92-year-old lady in a nursing home or some shit or somehow.
And somebody that stabbed his grandmother or somebody, family member, close family member, so many times where their pacemaker and shit fell out on the floor.
Yeah, we had one dude that decapitated his girlfriend. And then some of these guys, like, it's literally like you watch those documentaries like on Ted Bundy. They could be like the calmest motherfuckers you ever meet. And they done some of the most heinous fucking shit you can ever think of.
I mean, they pop off just one day, just crazy like.
Yeah.
We both were employed there during the riot. You
Yeah.
guys could probably find that. They could probably find that on YouTube,
Newcastle,
I would think.
Newcastle, Indiana prison. They called it a riot. They tore some shit up.
They tore some shit up.
A couple people got hurt, but another one got majorly hurt.
Nobody died.
I remember waking up, because I worked third shift at the time, and I used to give a guy a ride, and he called me. He's like, hey, turn on the news. And I was turning on the news, and there's a housing unit I work in with a fucking scissor lift or some shit burning out in front of him. I'm like, what the fuck? He was going, you can't call the prison. And I was still a rookie. So
they shut off the fucking phones, because I was there during the day. They shut the phones off. Like, you can't call in or call out. Because people were calling outside of the case manager's numbers. Because I got online, and I found some of the guys in my unit that were calling online. Like, they're like, oh, yes. I was like, I know that guy. He's in my unit. Because I was like, I need to call my parents, because I was pregnant at the time. This riot fucking broke out. I'm like, my mom's going to be freaking the fuck out. Like, I need to call. I had to get... Because you can't have your cell phone when you work in a prison. You leave it in your car.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we had to walk through shakedowns even before we check in. Shakedowns, everyday pat-downs. And then your shit goes through an x-ray machine. Like, there is no way you can't have a phone in there. Of course, people snuck phones to them idiots. And
right in the prison wallet. That's your pussy or asshole for those.
Oh no, some of them stuck it in like Subway sandwiches.
Oh, before they got privy to it, yeah, because they'd put it in a bag of fries. They threw fries out, put the phone in a baggie. There's always ways around it, but depending on who was up there doing the shakedowns.
Yeah. But some of them people felt like you were being searched.
That's how you're supposed to feel, like
especially by women. Like they would shake your fucking tits and everything. Like
yeah,
I'm like, hey.
you always learn that the proper search makes you feel uncomfortable.
And this is why Mrs. McStud doesn't carry purses or, I just started carrying a purse after how many years have I left?
Just the past 6 months.
Yeah,
really.
Like I worked there.
And I worked there until 2012.
I worked there until I probably worked there 8 years maybe. Mm-hmm. And I just started carrying a purse again because we had to have clear purses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everything
had to be clear, like it was. And then they still went through the shit. And I'm like, I don't have time for that. I've got to be able to clock in. So I didn't carry anything in.
Yeah. We also had my rookie year, literally, we signed a contract with Arizona. So we were supposed to fill half the prison up with Arizona inmates. And we got 3 of them filled up, and I got pulled out of mental health to go out to run one of those units. This is before the riot or whatever, and we all knew it was coming. I don't care what the prison says. We all knew it was coming. We all let everyone know. They had so many fucking written documents that it's going to happen. They would warn us, like, hey, it's coming. I don't know when, but it's coming. And it did. It sure did, and I was telling my friends, like, they've been talking about it, And it was funny because that day at Ball State, they pulled that up on the screen.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, our buddy's been telling us about this for a couple weeks now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, he said it's about to happen. Like, we knew it was going to happen. And
the problem is, when they brought Arizona in Arizona, their prisons were overly crowded. Mm-hmm. So they slept in tents and shit, and it was hot there, and blah, 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 blah. And so we signed this fucking contract. And then we brought them here, and...
Oh, they said they also all volunteered.
They didn't all volunteer. No. They didn't even know they were coming.
No, they got pulled out of their beds in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night. And then in Arizona, you can smoke and have pornography in prison. When you come to Indiana, you can't have anything. No. So what they made us do is set up a fucking assembly line. Literally, a fucking assembly line. And we had to go through each inmate's property, and we had to take away all their tobacco, all their pornography, whatever other contraband that we found that they couldn't have. And I was a part of this assembly chain, and we had to fucking write confiscation forms for all of them. Mm-hmm. And the inmates had to fucking sign them. So right there, we're starting off. And
there's a whole storage area full of TVs and shit that they couldn't have, that they could have
in Arizona.
But they told they could have when they come here. So they get there as like a rude awakening anyway.
And then we took their family away. Because their family typically lives in Arizona. That's why they're locked up in Arizona.
And it took forever to get the video visit set up.
Yes. So, I mean, they asked for this. Like, they did not warn those inmates. They took away all their shit that they had in Arizona, and then we brought them here without any fucking family.
And they called us well-trained staff. There was a handful of well-trained staff there. The rest of us were fucking rookies.
Yes.
Like myself. But thankfully, after all the crazy shit happened, the Arizona inmates were much better than the fucking Indiana inmates.
They're a lot more respectful, especially to women.
And you earn the respect, and like I get switched over once in a while. I'm like, man, I want to go back to the fucking Arizona side. These people are fucking assholes. Indiana guys have no goddamn respect. There's no sense of respect in the prison system.
And especially when it comes to women, and mostly women, I hate to be that way, but the Indiana guys, they didn't give 2 fucks who you were.
No.
95% of them did not give 2 fucks. But the Arizona guys, they respected everyone, men and women more.
And I would have loved to send some of the Indiana guys over to the West Coast for some prison experiences, because they would not make it. Mm-mm. They would have never made it. Like, Arizona was very organized. We actually had to segregate them by race, but the only time they actually all got along was when they came here. because they could actually interact with each other. They didn't want to be that way. That's just how it was over there, and they could actually, they could actually talk to each other. Like, we still had to segregate them in the dorms.
Yeah.
But they got along, and they were never able to do that over there, which was really cool because you could, and it was a really crazy fucking experience.
Oh Lord!
Oh, we need to finish this up, don't we?
I still have half a beer, but prison stories, we go on and on.
Oh God, hours and hours of prison stories, like they never end. And we just hit the tip of the iceberg with prison stories, really.
And sadly, I mean, I had to leave because he left before I did, just because he was tired of doing it, because he was an officer. Mm-hmm. I was payroll HR, but I was also an assistant at a college. Mm-hmm. That was there.
That's the first time I saw her. I got to watch her walk down the steps.
And
I'm like, damn.
But I had to quit whenever they switched over to all sex offenders. Yeah. And I'm sorry, I cannot treat a sex offender the same way that I can treat another human. And typically when you look at an inmate, you don't know what they're in there for. Mm-hmm. And then whenever they switched all to sex offenders, I'm looking at you, I'm talking to you, and I know you're a fucking sex offender. But
they kept like a handful of the regular inmates.
They did, but it's typically only a unit, which is the older people unit. And
like the guys that ran like stuff up front. Mm-hmm. Like the workers.
Stop unit and stuff like that.
The key to being a correctional officer is you can't fucking discriminate.
I was going to discriminate. I had to leave.
You gotta keep an equal mind no matter what's going on. Like I was very good at it. I didn't like it, but I was very good at it. And I was pretty highly respected there, which was nice.
But some of them, I mean, I will say that some inmates, mm-hmm. they're highly respectable. Mm-hmm. And actually, a couple of them, I even trusted. Like, sadly, I had to have an Aryan brother. Mm-hmm. He protected me in the college. But on the other side, I had another, I don't know what he was, but he was black. So I had white protect me, and then I had black, and they kind of sat outside my office and protected me from any bullshit.
And the prison is like, there are the racial divides, but they have to work together. And especially when it came to the sex offenders coming in, they got past their differences and shit, which is pretty wild in prison. Because if you guys ever watch Lockup or whatever, and like they give the different gangs and all the kind of shit.
Anytime I had to go and lock any doors, I mean, mm-hmm. those two were right there. Mm-hmm. I still remember their names, still to this day. I wish I could find them. They're probably out.
And not everyone in prison is a horrible person. No. Some of the people we had in there were some dumb shit that they made mistakes for in life.
And they will tell you. Mm-hmm. But then some of them will write letters. I can't tell you how many prison letters I've read and how many big ass underwear that I pulled out a fucking envelope that I could wrap around my body 4 fucking times.
With lipstick kisses.
Saying they're going to re-offend. Like they want to be in prison.
Mm-hmm. That reminds me of one dude, but we'll have to do like story time number 2 because we can keep on going with this shit.
Yeah, because I had to read mail. Oof.
Oh boy, the mail was the worst. And you saw some of the funkiest fucking photos you can imagine. Oh, yeah,
and all that fucking cheap ass perfume.
When I was a canine officer, we had to go through and take our dogs, to sniff the mail and shit. And then you got it like, oh, look at this. I'm like, I didn't want to see that. Thanks for letting me know. And
the biggest pair of underwear I've ever seen, I promise you, is probably like a 10X. Like, honestly, like, these bitches could wrap around me I'm like, what the fuck is anybody gonna do with these?
Jerk off with them, I guess.
Well, they didn't get them. Confiscated them.
No, but people still send them either way. Anyways, Terry Dallas, Brian Wallace, I hope you are happy with that video. We got plenty more stories where those come from. Like, we could go, like, a 2-hour video, really, of talking about our experiences in prison. Working at a prison. Let me get that right. We were not actually housed there. But anyways, I'm McStud. It does feel like it.
I'm Mrs. McStud.
We'll catch you bitches tomorrow for a sloppy toppy Saturday. That sounds amazing.